What? Dude, Phil, roll the new intro.
Alright, we ready for this? Nice. Let's get into the video. Yo, what is going on, GT fam? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy, it's your homie, it's your audio nerd, GT Omega here. Now, for today's video, I've got something very special that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and that is to talk about the art of tip rolling. Now, trust me, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but we will go ahead and we will dive into more or less the basics of it, what you should be expecting from it, and then, you know, sort of the end result and whether tip rolling is something that you may want to get into or not. So we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that now.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alrighty, y'all, and the biggest reason why you would want to get into the art of tip rolling is really down to two simple factors. Number one being seal/noise isolation and comfort, and then number two being sound quality. Now, I'm going to talk about the first one first, and that is simply because without the first one, you cannot get the other. So, as you know, seal is going to be extremely crucial to making any IEM sound as best as it possibly can, and by swapping out, you know, different ear tips, they're made out of different construction materials and things of that nature. So, you know, they will typically seal better just because they're made out of more high quality silicone or foam. And yeah, they'll just be able to seal in your ear much better compared to stock ear tips. And the second one would kind of go hand in hand with the first one. So if you get a good seal, you're going to get good sound quality, and in some cases you might actually be able to sort of re-EQ your ear tips more or less. Alrighty everyone, and as you can see here, I went ahead and I pulled up a stock photo of the Edemotic ER series ear tips, and the reason why I did that is because I wanted to sort of dig into the anatomy of what makes an ear tip an ear tip. Now, the most common thing that you will see on any ear tip is it's got to have flanges, and the flanges refers to sort of the bowl-like things that you actually fit into your ear tip, and they are pretty important when it comes to making a good seal with your ear, and allowing your IEMs or earphones to be heard at the best of their abilities. Now, obviously you don't have to have triple flanges. In fact, most folks have single flanges, which I will show a picture of now. Now, with these single flange ear tips, again, they're just supposed to look like your standard run-of-the-mill ear tips. Now, the ones I'm specifically showing are not just some regular ear tips. These are the Spinfit CP100s. These are the ones that I personally use on basically everything else aside from my Edemotics, and yeah, I really like them. Again, they do a good job of elevating most, if not all, things, and they are supremely comfortable. They've never gotten my ears itchy or anything like that, and yeah, they just provide a really good seal. But with that being said, the second thing that we actually have to talk about now is going to be the construction of said ear tips. Alright everyone, and when talking about construction materials for ear tips, we're going to be going over two of the most prominent ones, just because that's the ones that you'll find pretty much everywhere within the IEM/earphone landscape, and that would be foam ear tips and silicone ear tips. Now, with foamies, the good thing about foamies is they're super comfortable, they're super easy to use and wear, and above all, they just provide sound isolation like no other ear tip will give you, aside from maybe like custom fit ear tips. And the main reason why that is because they're essentially foam, so any sort of heat that you apply to them, they will automatically mold to your ears. So it's kind of like custom fit, but for poor people. And yeah, I used them for a long time, so don't get jaded by that term. But in any case, yeah, the only downside that they really have to them is the fact that they don't offer a whole bunch in the sound quality department. I know, like I said before, that seal is insanely important to getting good sound, but with foam, you have to also realize that because it's a sound dampening material, it itself will also sort of kill and rob the net gains that you would get from, a better seal just in general. So you'll hear some of the bass be deadened up. The mids will kind of seem like they're recessed and veiled. And then on top of that, you won't get anywhere near the sparkly bits that you usually did with your regular silicone or rubber ear tips. With that being said, though, the good thing about them is if you have an IEM or an earphone that's particularly harsh, then this will usually fix those issues pretty well, especially if the foam is thick. Then it will sort of amplify that feeling even more. Alrighty, and last but not least, everyone, we've got the tried and true method of the silicone ear tip. Now, for this one, there's not much to elaborate on, since I sort of already said some things here and there with the etymologic ear tip breakdown, but more or less what you need to know about silicone ear tips is they're more of a one-size-fits-all type ear tip. So unfortunately, they won't seal with your ears usually and block noise as well as something like a foamy will. But in most cases, they are completely serviceable, and in some cases, because they're easier to manufacture and just cheaper to make, you can get all different types of silicone ear tips, and some will enhance or worsen different properties of the sound that is coming from your IEMs or earphones. Now, with that being said, the sort of downside to them is, again, like I mentioned, isolation is not a priority on silicone ear tips, and thereby as well a seal is also not the number one priority with ear tips. Again, most manufacturers will do the best that they can, but because everyone's ears are different, you're not guaranteed a good seal, and so you may have to swap around from tip to tip and from size to size to actually find something that really gives you a good seal and lets you bring the best out of your IEMs, just from sort of a neutral reference standpoint, so to speak. Alrighty, everyone, and for the last option that we have on the list, it is the end game of all ear tips, and that is going to be my custom fit or custom molded ear tips from Adv Sound Group. Now, you might have heard this company before. They're kind of the reason why I even have 1,000+ views on this channel. So I don't know, I guess thanks, guys. But in any case, I wanted to bring these out for last because I kind of wanted to sort of give you better alternatives, or for sure at least cheaper alternatives to something like this. If you had to ask me point blank what I recommend to everyone to get this, absolutely not. And that may surprise folks, but the amount of time and money and just patience involved with acquiring something like this is not at all reasonable. You could order some tips, some Spinfit tips from Amazon and get them within like 2 to 3 days, whereas with something like this, just to schedule an appointment took me weeks. And then on top of that, you have to pay for the appointment itself, pay for the molds, and then after that you have to pay for shipping to send the damn things off to Adv Sound, and then you have to pay for that and wait for them to turn your molds into a 3D file, which they can then convert into something that's actually usable for you. But I will say, if you have an IEM or an earphone that you just love to death and you never want to get rid of it, then this is sort of like putting a ring on your quote unquote, I don't know, I guess like earphone spouse, earphone waifu, if, you're in the Kryn community and, you're a simp for Moondrop. It couldn't be me. But in any case, this is your final step. This gives you the best of everything. So that includes, your sound quality, your fit, your noise isolation, all of that. It all comes wrapped in just one nicely packaged, and on top of that, the colors are customizable, so you can get some really cool and funky colors. And it's just something that's meant for you. It's a one-to-one match. So this is literally, quote unquote, getting intimate with you know, your earphones with your in-ear monitors. So with that being said, this is kind of where I wanted to stop with the comparisons. So now I will actually list which ones I recommend from most to least. And then we're also going to talk about the sonical properties of every single one of them. And yeah, we'll sort of go from there. And I'll sort of rate them, you know, based off of the whole mix. So how cheap they are to acquire, how comfortable they are, how much they block out noise, and then also we got to throw in the sound quality in there. And yeah, all of these will be specifically based off of the Etymotic ER2 XR's sound signature and which one I think sounds the best for, you know, according to my ears. And then from there, you can sort of pick and choose which one you think might suit your preferences. Alrighty, everyone, and for the last stop on this trip, I'm going to be talking about which ones do I think are the best. And truthfully, if you're not going to get custom molded ear tips, then I think the best for all folks is going to be a duel between the Spinfit CP800s, if you specifically have the Etymotics, and or the Final Audio Type E's. Now, the Final Audio Type E's are a little bit more compatible with more IEMs just because they actually have a very wide bore. But what they include inside of their packaging, if you get the multi-size kit, is you will get a smaller sort of like ring that actually adapts with the wider tip itself. That way you can actually fit them onto these Eddies. But with the CP800s, they're essentially just they're directly matched for the Etymotics. So it's essentially just you can either stick them into there or any other, you know, earphone that's similar to it, but aside from that, you're not gonna really do anything else. I would recommend staying away from the foamies just because I feel like they hurt most folks more than they actually help them. And yeah, those are more going to be designed for in-ear monitors or earphones that are a little bit too harsh, and you sort of want to tame the highs and maybe even tame the mids and the bass. But with that being said, that is basically it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, then go ahead and hit the dislike button. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this horribly made video, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. I'm always more than willing to help y'all out if you have any questions or concerns. So yeah, feel free to blast the comment section here for a bit. But yeah, with that being said, everyone, I hope you all take care and stay safe. Please stay hydrated, and as always, I will catch you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Say it again, Dexter.